let's move on to a clip that I think kind of points out how much the White House struggles. Karine Jean-Pierre, who is the very challenged press secretary at the White House, you know, I thought Jen Psaki was something in that she would just not say a whole lot, but she said it well, the nothing. But poor Karine, I mean, I guess nickname there would be Clueless Karine, because she doesn't seem to know what the White House position is.
And she can't find it in that binder.
No, she can't, and she just finally admits that. She was asked to clear up how or if Kamala Harris, the Vice President's policy task force on online behavior was going to be different from the Ministry of Truth that the Biden people had first come up with. And here's how she stumbles through that.
That it's going to be different from the Disinformation Governance Board in that it's going to focus on illegal conduct online. But the memo creating it was a little bit broader and mentioned, and I'm quoting from the document, quote, online harassment, abuse, and disinformation campaigns targeting women and LGBTQI+ individuals who are public and political figures. Could you clear up the disinformation charge?
So I would need to talk to her team. I was not on the background call.
I know nothing. Nothing.
We threw that in there because I thought nothing more encapsulates what's going on at this White House, and especially with Karine Jean-Pierre, than the clip of Sergeant Schultz. You have to be older to appreciate that and have grown up during the time when Hogan's Heroes was on the air. That show could never make it today, so politically incorrect. But that's she might as well show up in a World War II suit and just say, I know nothing, I see nothing, because my team hasn't told me anything. And it's just amazing. The second one here, this is when she's trying to explain about the GDP growth, which has plummeted under Joe Biden.
Yeah, thanks, Karine. So the Federal Reserve is predicting that GDP growth for the next 2 years will be 1.7%, under 2%, under 2% for the next 3 years. So is this what the president considers stable and steady growth?
What I can tell you is that we believe that we are in a transition right now, coming out of a economic recovery, a historic economic recovery, because of the work that the president has done this past year and a half.
I mean, this is hard to sit there and not laugh at. A historic economic recovery. This country was doing pretty well. We were coming out of COVID at the end of 2020. The economy was bouncing back like gangbusters, and we obviously had a bad year when everything got shut down. And then Joe Biden shows up, and on his first day in office, he does a whole flurry of executive orders that took the country the wrong direction. It was almost like giving him the entire, I guess, control of the Titanic, and he walks up, sees an iceberg, and says, "Full steam ahead." You know, and that's what we've done.
Yeah.
We've run right into the icebergs.
Yeah. I'm not sure he saw it, but he sure went toward it.
Well, and when he hits it and the boat's sinking, he says,
"Oh,
boy, I'll tell you what, this will make a great movie." It's just hard to sit there and watch her try to defend this. But I think the interesting thing, too, is that when it comes to fuel prices, there's always got to be a bad guy. Joe Biden's never responsible for anything. The buck flies all around his office, but it's never stopped there, ever. And right now, I guess he gave up on trying to blame Putin because people didn't buy that. They knew that was phony. So now his new bad boy, the oil companies. Watch.
Now we want to focus on the oil refinery, which is why we put out the letter today or yesterday. I'm losing my track of time. And so we see that as an important first step in making sure that the oil refineries are doing their part, again, patriotic duty, in making sure that they're putting out capacity and they're not taking advantage of a war that is hurting the American public.
I mean, there's so many things about what she said that don't make sense. One thing, she says that refineries need to put out more. Well, they can't put out more if they don't have the capacity to drill more. And they're stuck on that because this administration puts their foot on the neck of the oil companies, who, by the way, lost $20 billion last year. And the oil companies have finally had it up to here. You know, they're tired of being the whipping boy for this administration. And I'm not trying to be defensive of the big oil companies, but what people need to understand in America is that the big oil companies are not the heart and soul of our energy system. It's the small operators, the small drillers, wildcatters, the suppliers. There's a whole bunch of people involved, and it is a market-based economy, and it's a global one. So if our prices go up, it is because the supply has gone down and the demand has remained high, and it's because the cost of getting that energy out of the ground has become much more expensive due to government policy and various controls. So say what you will, but under President Trump, we had energy independence for the first time in 75 years. And the reason we did is because he said, it's our energy. Let's go after our stuff. Let's quit begging the Saudis. Let's not ask Venezuela for help. Let's not get it from the Russians. We have it under our own feet. Let's get it. And we did. And we were exporting energy, and everybody was better off. And even if you're not someone employed by big oil, do I have to tell you, you were better off buying gasoline at your local station for half the price that you're paying right now, because we were using our own sources of energy. And I want to say to her, how dare you talk about patriotism toward these folks, when if you really were patriotic, President Biden wouldn't be planning a trip to Saudi Arabia to try to beg their forgiveness for the horrible things he said about them, because he wants them to drill some more oil for him so that our prices can be lower. Why don't you go down to Houston or Tulsa or El Dorado, Arkansas, or Midland, Texas, and tell those folks who are drilling that they can go ahead and do it, and the government won't be coming after to get them. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.